That's the whole point of the training.
Okay, we are
Is that you train the authorized.
Is
So that there's
the issue.
it called Regional Director of the Bureau of Internal...
Good morning again. Welcome to 888 News Forum. Today, we have at least 3 guests. One guest is a registered PADI diver and a licensed sports pilot. His family owns a hospice in Germany and he's married to a lass from Liloan, and his medical supervisor is a Filipino registered nurse. Please help me welcome Mr. Hans-Peter Meyer. Sir. Then our second guest will talk about Fono Cebu Federation of Cooperatives, how it works, and why cooperatives in Cebu must join Fono Cebu Federation of Cooperatives. Please help me welcome Ma'am Janjan Lubanga. And the third guest is a whistleblower for several years. He will talk about several issues in Cebu City and province. He will talk about the past cases that he filed before Ombudsman and Sandigang Bayan. Please help me welcome Mr. Chris Saavedra. Dire na lang, Sir Chris. Okay. At this point of time, may I call on the alternate host of this forum, Sir Art Barrett.
Good morning, everybody. Once again, welcome to our weekly program, 888 News Forum. While waiting for the other members of the working media in Cebu, we'll start for our program, today's edition of News 888 News Forum. We have a lady guest here and 2 gentlemen. On my right side, I think the guy is familiar to us. And for the opening, we'll have the opening statement, then the explanation, and what's the purpose of always visiting Cebu, and likewise the latest update on the crusade of our good friend here, Mr. Chris Saavedra, and of course, from Fono Cebu, we'll listen to our invited guest also. What is this all about? And to begin with, I'll call on Mr. Hans Meyer to deliver his opening statement. Mr. Hans Meyer, you have the floor.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My statement about gyrocopter is, I have a gyrocopter in Germany, and this gyrocopter, it's not really, but maybe the same like a helicopter. Only the difference is the gyrocopter, it's much more cheaper. It's gyrocopter, the money for a gyrocopter, it's maybe same like a good car. And you can doing with gyrocopters the same what you can doing with a helicopter.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, will you explain that later on? So thank you for your statement. And now our crusader for graft and corruption, Mr. Chris Saavedra.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett. And thank you to the 888 Forum, and especially to Marco Polo and Eli Baquero. I am here now to make my periodical reports on my crusade, advocacy against corruption, and I will be making my report very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sir Chris. and our lady guest, Janjan Lubanga. Okay, good morning, ma'am, and your opening statement.
Hi, good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the 888 Forum for inviting us this morning. With me is my Assistant Marketing Manager, Jun-An Iburan, and together with my Operation Marketing Officer, Mr. Mars. So I will be promoting Fono Cebu Federation of Cooperatives. Thank you.
Okay, so, gentlemen, ladies, once again, good morning. I specifically invited my friend Hans Mayer, a German national, because if I used to visit Europe, I used to visit his home city, somewhere in southern parts of Germany, near Memmingen city. If I'll take the train from Amsterdam, then from or Berlin to by plane to Munich. So the guy is promoting this kind of aircraft, a gyrocopter, and this is cheaper than a Lexus, and you can fly. We used to fly from Bavaria to some parts in Germany, and among the Asian countries, I think Philippines is the only country that doesn't have this kind of sports aircraft. So 3 years or so ago, I wrote a letter to the Civil Aviation Authority asking for a certificate of no objection for the importation of this gyrocopter. So I wrote to Brigadier General Rodante Hoya, the OIC ODDG Chief for Operations of the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, or CAAP. And we received a very positive response that they could import, or we can import, a gyrocopter to the Philippines. So the reason why we have already, I think if I am not mistaken, 6 gyrocopter in Mactan, 4 or station in Mactan and 2 in Argao, to Mr. Harris, or Peris. Okay. So, Mr. Hans Mayer, a short introduction to our audience about your plan of bringing this kind of aircraft to boost our tourism industry in the region.
Thank you, Mr. Art. So my reason is why I need to bring this gyrocopter to Philippines, because Philippines, it's a future country who have in the future much more tourists. And for tourists is this really nicely and important, so she can see in short time a lot of wonderful islands from Philippines. So when she order a plane, or when she order a helicopter to doing this, it's really expensive. When she can order a gyrocopter from us, and she have only a minimum from this money what she must give when she order a plane or a helicopter. The positive from this gyrocopter is you can doing, I tell already, you can doing them like with a helicopter. You can fly slowly so you can see everything. You can fly when it's much windy. It's not so much shaking like in a plane, and it's really cheap. So maybe you need gasoline for 1 hour's fly, maybe 20 liters, normal gasoline, and you can fly in 1 hour maybe 150 kilometers. So. You can fly without a tank stop around about 400 kilometers. So it's really nicely for tourists to fly with this gyrocopter, so she can see a lot of islands. and it's also nice for businessmen because a lot of companies here have other branch in other island. So when she fly one day with a gyrocopter, she can doing them like she driving with car 1 week. Because, for example, from here to Bohol, it's 25 minutes, 20 minutes. That's really easy. And for a businessman, it's important time. So when she doing in one day, same what she doing other time in 1 week, this is a big difference. And it's not so expensive. It's a gasoline, what a gyrocopter need is same like a car, a good car. So give a lot of experience why I need to bring this gyrocopter here in Philippines. First for tourists, the second for business, and we cannot forget what it's important too. It's for police. You know, police must be controlling so much the traffic here in Philippines, and when she's driving with car or with plane, is much more expensive, like she driving with gyrocopters. And what's important, she can stay in the air. You know, she can hovering, so she can really controlling, or she can doing what she must doing for controlling the traffic, and she can start landing whoever she like. That's easy, much more easy like a plane. So, and the last, what I don't need to forget, it's for soldiers, for the military. It's same important, and around the world, she uses this now. And I need to bring this to the military too.
Yeah, and the police too. Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Hans Mayer. Lexus is more expensive than owning a gyrocopter. And gyrocopter is fueled by just like unleaded gasoline, okay? And if you have 6 million, you can buy a gyrocopter, okay? So, and you can fly, of course. And if you want to learn more about gyrocopter, just watch the movies of James Bond, You Live Only Twice. Okay?
Mr. Art, sorry, what I need to tell you too is, when you need to learning flying to a gyrocopter, it's really easy. You have maybe 20 hours and you can fly. It's a big difference to a helicopters too. So when government need or business peoples need to like to fly 20 hours, and she can really fly, and it's safe. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Hans is not only a sports pilot, he is also a diver like me. Okay, Mr. Hans. Sir Chris, your annual report or periodic report as far as graft and corruption issues are concerned.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett. I had been, I think everybody is aware of my advocacy against corruption. I think I'm the only one who is doing this very religiously and putting in my time 100% on the issue. And I have filed cases against almost all the government officials here in Cebu, not because they are. It's because because of the anomalous transactions that I have made as a public official. Now, the recent development we have, which came out in the papers, I think 2 or 3 days ago, that Mayor Labella, Mayor Edgardo Labella, approved or issued a mayor's permit for Yuri. This is the Kawit project of Tomas Osmeña and Yuri, the owner of Cebu Pacific, worth 18 billion, which was entered into by the city of Cebu before the election, and questioned by the group of Edgar Labella. But on my case, I am doing this as an independent advocate against corruption. I was not really doing this because I was influenced or I was used by politics or politicians. So I am continuing now my crusade against corruption because it has been proven that there were anomalies that were done or shortcuts, violation of the law during the transaction. So this involves properties of the government, money of the government, time, and of course, it is a violation of the law. So when it comes to the violation of the law and connected to corruption, that is my specialty. I usually do that from time to time. Now, according to the newspaper, Mayor Edgardo Labella issued a mayor's permit to Kawit project. Now, but unfortunately, there was no information about revising or improving or correcting the mistake that was done during the transaction between URI, Universal Hotel and Resorts Incorporated, owned by the owners of Cebu Pacific, and the City of Cebu, represented by former Mayor Tomas Osmeña. Now, there was also only mentioned, this is a banner on the two newspapers we have in Cebu, that the improvement was only done or corrected was only done on the financial side, which I am not concerned because that is the concern of the city. What I'm concerned is the violation of the law, which when URI, as a one-year corporation, old corporation, one-year-old corporation, registered in the Philippines, does not have any track record, and that has to be corrected. Now, I wrote a letter to the mayor dated September 16, 2019, and also attention to Vice Mayor Rama and all the city councilors. I submitted this yesterday. And hopefully, when I saw the Vice Mayor yesterday, they will take this up during the session this afternoon. This is a letter which I am asking the City Council to make a final review with or without the financial issues questioned by the City of Cebu of the transaction entered by former Cebu City Mayor Tomas Osmeña with URI. Now, the reason why I would not like to dwell on the financial issues, because that's not my business. That's the business of Cebu City. I am only after the legal issues or violation of the law. Now, why is it in violation of the law? Because there is a city ordinance 2154 says an ordinance prescribing guidelines and procedures for entering into joint venture agreement with private entities consistent with the NEDA guidelines on the joint venture agreement. This guideline, which was passed and approved and signed by Tomas Osmeña, the former mayor, and Mike Grama as the vice mayor, is the guideline of how to invite investors, like what the investors like in the SRP. So this is the guidelines they use in awarding the contract with URI. However, in this ordinance, it is specified that the investor should have a track record of at least 50 to 75% of the project. But they don't have it. So that's the issue I brought up. So I filed the case with the ombudsman, and the city filed civil cases, which were dismissed. But my case was not dismissed. I filed cases starting last June 18, 2018, and amended complaint November 28, 2018, and another follow-up complaint last January 9, 2019 on this particular project. Now, last February I received a letter from the Visayas Ombudsman dated February 17, 2019, informing me that the case filed against Tomas Osmeña et al. On the unsolicited proposal made by Yuri has been formally referred for fact-finding investigation, now docketed as FF-V, as in Victory, -19-0046. What is this? This is a fact-finding stage of the investigation where the ombudsman will gather evidences. Then after that, they will file. They will elevate this to another stage where they will ask the respondents to answer within 10 days, so that it will after this is going to be evaluated, it will be decided if there is a prima facie evidence to be filed in court. You see, so why is it that I filed the case? It has been proven from my investigation and from the evidence that I have in my hands. These are the following violations of the contract signed by Tomas Osmeña and Yuri. Yuri, as private corporation with judicial personality, corporation organized more or less 1 year only from the offer made to Cebu City. Sa ato pa, kining korporasyon is only 1 year old. So 1 year old, how could you possibly have a track record? Wag ka track record ani. Now, and based on the city ordinance requirement, number 2154 on the technical record or technical requirements, they should have 50 to 75% track record of the same project. They are not qualified. So, mao ni akong primerong question sa akong kaso. Ikaduha, according to the BOT law amended of 2012, RA 7718, revised implementing rules and regulations, IRR. This is for the BOT, build, operate, transfer. It says in section 9, every infrastructure project undertaken under this provision shall be in accordance with the plans, specification, standard, and cost approved by the concerned government agency. That was not done. That was not done. I know that because there was an investigation made by the city council when before the election that it was not done. It was only the contractor or the developer that has prepared the plans and specification and use it in the construction. And it says here, and shall be under the supervision of the said agency or local government unit in the case of the local project. Now, this is very important. The project that is going to be undertaken by Yuri, it is build, operate, and transfer. That means to say they will build an 18 billion project. Then they will operate it, they will get in return their investment in terms of profits and share it with the city. Then after 50 years, that property or the building that they have built, no, because the land belongs to the city. The building that they have built for worth 18 billion will be owned by the city. So that becomes a government property. So if the construction will be done without the supervision and participation and an independent consultancy to see to it that the implementation of the project is per plans and specification approved by the city, they might just build the building made of cardboard, made of poor materials, so that it will, after 50 years, it will just disintegrate, it will just disappear. So it is a must to protect the interests of the city as the owner of the property, the 4 hectares, that they will be the one to undertake the supervision and the construction and the bidding of the project of the contractor. Now, this is not complied by the contractor. So these are the issues that I am now questioning.
we will discuss and we'll listen to you, Sir Chris, from the questions and queries from our members of the media.
Okay.
Okay.
First of all, may I recognize the presence of the big boss of my TV, the columnist of Philippine Star and the columnist of the Freeman, Sir Bobit Abila.
Good morning, Sir Bobby.
And before ni Ma'am Janjan, may I request Chen Bernardino to sit at the presidential table. Chen Bernardino is from STEP, Philippines. This is related to environment, and she will talk about the coming global climate strike on September 20.
Okay. Okay. Before Ma'am, before to our last invited speaker, Ma'am Chit. So, Ma'am Janjan, can you discuss more about this latest or new funeral owned by cooperatives, the Punos Cebu? You have the floor, Ma'am Janjan.
Thank you, sir. So, once again, no, I would like to thank the 88 Forum for this opportunity. For sure, it will a big help to us, to the Federation, to expedite our promotions in the community, since Fono Cebu Federation of Cooperatives are new in the mortuary industry. So, kung sa baga, we're young. 2 years pa mi nag-operate, especially here in Cebu. So, Fono Cebu Federation of Cooperatives, 8th owned funeral by cooperative. So, in total, ika-8 ang Fonos, nationwide ang Fono Cebu Federation of Cooperative. So, we're located at Arcolina Street, Ibabaw Instancia, Mandawi City, at the back of Pacific Mall. So, I would like to promote our funeral by giving we're giving 10% referral fee to those who will refer Fonos or their funeral care. So, in behalf of the federation, our objectives is to, aside of our member, our objective is to be one of the most trusted funeral nationwide by providing decent yet affordable funeral service and memorial service in the country.
Thank you for that, Ma'am Janjan. We'll ask you more questions later on the services and programs of Punos Cebu.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so we'll listen to our next guest, Ma'am Kin, on the program of climate change and sustainable development matters. So you have the floor, Ma'am.
Hello, good morning. I really like to thank 88 Forum for inviting us. On behalf of all the environmentalists in Cebu, advocates, I'd like to go ahead and emphasize what we're here for. So colorful kayo ang forum. There's a lot of genre from here to there. But yes, someone has to represent about the environment and what's going on. Right now, you can see the haze that's happening in Cebu. This is not just a pollution type. This is not just because of the carbon emissions. Probably we will ask ourselves what's going on. So right now, if you have heard Greta Thunberg, there's a lot of climate strikes all over the, let's say, this is a climate strike youth-powered, and this is going to be international. This will happen on September 20th. It's an assembly at Fuente, 8:30 a.m. And at 9, we're going to start. We're not there to make noises, to spread some plastic bottles, and then be a destructive activist. We're there to warn the entire, concerned citizens that there are youth, there are kids who are really into, let's say, who are aware of the changes that's happening within our world. You can see that we do have a lot of lifespan yet. So, definitely, kung imong pangutanon ang usa ka tigwang, lesser na iyang concern, or you couldn't care less because you're about to die. But what about us, the youth? So, the kids, you said you love your children more than anything. But we will be there in the part of extinction in the sixth space. Nga makita nimo one day naa na lang ang trees sa museum. So we would like to have this emphasis. Dili mi na dito para magsaba-saba. Nami dito where in fact we wanted to be a positive empowerment of youth nga mapansin bitaw sa mga tao ug makita sa mga tao na kaning mga bataa we're there for the climate. So lisod sa ingnon nga we're there para mangita lag attention. Definitely, we will submit a manifesto concerning different types. I'd like to emphasize that more, but maybe I will consume the time. We have different proposals like single-use plastic, banning of those with the help of the submission to the government, and hopefully we will be heard by this climate strike. And this is not just Cebu alone. This is entire Philippines, and this is the entire world participating.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much, Ma'am Ken. So you did not participate in the ongoing climate summit in New York, headquarters of the United Nations, maybe because you don't want also to add carbon footprints. Okay, anyway. Okay, so the floor now is open. Our guest first here, Sir Bobit, is a registered sports pilot, and he is also a diver, a German national, promoting a gyrocopter in the Philippines to boast an added attraction for our tourism. And this is the only country, I think, in Asia where gyrocopter is not being promoted and not well advertised, unlike in Thailand, unlike in Malaysia and Singapore, and some parts in the Middle East. And he's with us here to test and to offer to the public. But we have already a gyrocopter station in Mactan by Mr. Peris, an Australian contractor, and he has also a gyrocopter station in Argao, in the Leggett airstrip. So in 2015, I wrote a letter requesting the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines. I helped my friend to issue a certificate of no objection in importing these sports aircraft. So I got a favorable response from the CAAP that they will allow an importation. I have here the letter of Major General Rodante allowing us to import gyrocopter. And of course, we have already the gyrocopter station in Mactan. The plane is cheaper than the brand new Lexus. Okay, Sir Bobit.
Yes, I know about gyrocopters. The problem is that it cannot take so many passengers. I have not seen a gyrocopter that can sit 4 or 5, like a helicopter. So the gyrocopter is really, according to you, sports plane that's only good for 1 or 2 passengers. Am I correct?
Yes, correct. Yes, sir, it's absolutely correct in the moment, is so. But in the future, will we give gyrocopters with 4 persons too? She constructed now. It is for.
But
for 3.
what I'd like to know is that since you're in Mactan, when you take off, do you have to call the tower?
Yes, sure. Because it's an international airport.
That's why. So why are you based in Mactan? For me, that's a lot of foolishness in the sense that you're taking too long to take off. Unlike if you put your gyrocopter in another place where you don't really have a huge facility, aviation facility, then you will have a better chance of flying that gyrocopter quickly.
They use the airstrip in Kasay, Dalagit. So Mr. Oxley, Mr. Peris, so he built his residential house in Kasay, and he stationed his 4 gyrocopters in the airstrip of Kasay Dalaget because in order to not to create more traffic in our international airport.
I've been to Dalaget, I even rode my motorcycle there, but I think there is a tree in the middle. I don't know now if somebody cut the tree because it was abandoned. And I hope that they can reuse it so that it will not be wasted as a runway. Thank you.
Okay, Sir Bobit, for your information, during the time of Secretary Mike Dipensor or Alan Peter Cayetano, that they are offering the whole area, because that's part of the Argao Beach Club before, at $2 billion. That's under the Philippine Tourism Authority.
Sir Chris, morning. Sir, nisulti ka ganina nga about ani Yuri, gi-investigate na unsa may dili kaha kanang nisamtop gud sa kong nahuna nga dili kaha ni kanang frontline ni siya. Frontline ni siyang kompanya ha. Kay matud pa nimo wa may track record siya. 1 year lang siya nya naana din kako na siya contract nga such big contract. Dili kani siya frontline ni siya.
Ma'am, I think that's a good conclusion, no? But ang tinuod ganing reason why they are using a front corporation is that if anything goes wrong, the mother corporation, which is the Kokongwe family owned corporation, like for example the Cebu Pacific, and their land holdings and everything, will be safe from being asked to take the responsibility of the failure of Yuri, of the project. Murag tinuod front ni para at least if anything happens, they will not ang ilang mga properties will not be affected.
So
Bona na tinuod gana. Oo.
Unya, okay rin lang yun na nga mogamit ng front niya with such billions of cost of project.
Oh. Mo na ni lagi a lot of people are doubting this project if it is for real, no? And ang problema lang nato diri, our concern, which we are the taxpayers and we own the property of 4 hectares. Kining 4 hectares will be tied up with this project for 50 years. Now, if you talk about 115,000 per square meter, this is a big investment of the city. So, we cannot make use of the property. And the problem here is we don't know what is the hidden agenda of the investor. On na ato. And while doing the project or doing the transaction with the city, and the property is owned by the taxpayers of Cebu, remember that, they did it a shortcut way. Muna na, shortcut ba? Murag gibinuangan ta. Wa sila track record, pakuan lang, palusot lang. Mura they're cheating us. So if really they wanted to make business with the city, they should do it the right way. What happens? We are not anti progress. We are not against investors. No, we want people to invest, pero they should invest on and do it the right way within the law. For example, kining Yuri, kining project sa Kawit, if they really want to do a project like that, they should put in a company that is credible, that will be responsible for any failure that will come in. Secondly, is that they should be qualified. So they should come in. If, for example, Yuri is only 1 year old, they should go into a joint venture that has a track record, 50% of the project, to be able to qualify and to sign together with Yuri. Ang problema diri sa kontrata between the city and Yuri, ang Yuri lang na pirma. So if Yuri will come up with a joint venture that is qualified, they will sign the contract. So anything happens. Kining joint venture who has a track record, more qualified, will also be responsible. So they will have to be careful in their transactions, in their business, so that because they know very well they will lose a lot. Here, Yuri will not lose anything. They will just lose the worth of the papers that they come up in filing with the SEC. That's all. Human, ang syudad, luoy kayo.
Oh,
Luoy kayo nga, no? Dili man kayo na-investa, no? It is the property, 4 hectares. What is 4 hectares? That's 40,000 square meters. At 115,000, how much is that? Billions.
Billions?
Billions of money. We cannot use that. And by that time, mamatay na ta, wa na ta. Mo na na.
Thank you, sir. Sa Ma'am Funos. Ma'am Asa.
Yes, Ma'am Chit.
Funos. Ma'am Asa dapita hayaon ang asa man nga funeral parlor, hayaon ang patay. Unya unsa may diferensya i-compare sa ang Funos sa Cosmo o sa St. Peter?
Ma'am, as the traditional, ato yung agdon ang family where they preferred nila either sa home ba or sa ato ang chapel.
Asa man yung chapel?
Yeah, sa Arcolina Street, ma'am, ibabaw istansya. So, adto rata, we're a modern type funeral, and then dali na pod atong processing on preservation of the body since automatic embalming machine na atong gamit. So, mao na ka advantage sa ato. It won't take long for the body inside in our clinic. Okay. Kansa po.
Yeah,
And
kanang
they have also beautiful mortician. Accredited.
apil na ang package ana ang yuta sa kanang lubngan o dili.
No, ma'am.
Wala.
Purely funeral lang jud ta. Pick up the body, preservation of the body, viewing, and then to interment.
Sir Barrett.
Yes, ma'am.
Una
Ma'am
yung
Chit.
pangutana, imo mang gisulti ganina nga doon na clearance ang pagpalit og mga helicopters. Nya doon na ni palit nga kanibitang negosyo sa tourism kay para nako sako lang hunahuna gamay nako panabot gikinahanglan kayong helicopters sa tourism business.
One, Ma'am Chit, Bobong Castillo of IPI, now he is running his own business. Together with Mr. Hans Meyer, we went to Mactan to familiarize with the aircraft. So, and he went to Germany to have a testing and riding with the gyrocopter, the real one, because at that time Mr. Paris was in Australia, so we could not ride his gyrocopter. But then, personally, I was able to ride a gyrocopter in Bavaria, in Mimingen City, together with a friend of Mr. Hans Meyer, Chris Lermer. So we went there and have a ride in southern parts of Germany. This is a very safe aircraft, sports aircraft.
Okay. At this point of time,
Okay.
Sir Art, may I recognize my TV people, Mr. Dante Luzon, Neil Madrid, Jeff Cañada, Kirby Ocampo, and Elitz Caballero. And then the other people are MS Pina, Engineer Nilo Pamaylaon, Chit Beltran, PB Baquero.
Hereby recognized.
Doon na pa day kauban si Ma'am Chin, si Keisha Era Muanya.
Okay. Yes, Ma'am Chin, you made mention about the forthcoming program for climate change or climate issues involving the youth. So, kanus ama ni?
Hi, sir. Yes, again, this is going to be on the 20th, karong 20th of September. It will be at Fuente, 9 a.m. If maka-assemble me 8:30, mas maayo.
I see. So, what are you going to do on the 20th of this month? So, March Parade to where?
Okay. Yes, appeal na siya, sir. But we're going to be there for the purpose na daghan unta may propose, sir. Nami unta i-manifesto ihatag sa inyo, ha? First yun is daghan unta by local lang good is banning of single-use plastic from different types of establishment na nagsige gihapon promote ana. Like sa mga plastic cups, fork and spoon, at least ma-minimize ang waste nato, and we will promote something like this one, sir. This is for the entire Philippines. We like something about renewable energy, a clean energy. We're against about the coal. Makita nato sila nasod nindot sila kay nag-progress na sila into cleaner state of energy, but kita nagpa-atras gihapunta sa coal part. So we also like to have the safeguard the rights of the indigenous people and the environmental defenders. As you can see sa survey, number 1 na ang Philippines for killed activists and killed environmental rights protectors. They're actually endangered, even us, even me. So we also like to strengthen the CCAM, DRRM, UNTA, so that the research and development will be more emphasized in Philippines about all aspects about sa environment. Kay dako kay tag-investment, we have so much investment sa ato ang too much of a progress. I'm not against it. I'm really happy na booming ang Cebu. But when it comes to, ingno nato nga panindutay sa ato ang nasod, sa ato ang city, daghan kaayo tag-attention ana. But when it comes to environment, magpabulag-bulagan ta. Sama pa sa atong post sa FB kung about ni siya sa whale nga nakakaon og plastic, gamay rang tao mo like ana or imura na skip. But kung mag-post ka kanang nag-travel ka, gwapa kay ka, daghan kay mo like nimo. Kuno? But kami, youth, so hopefully kani nga strike, makita sa ninyo na daghan gyud mga bata, kabataan karon nga gusto jud magpakita nga we care. We really like to have a change. Dili lang ni siya strike kay magkalat mi didto, dili lang o magsaba. In fact, gusto mi nga positive vibes ni siya mo kanta mi didto, ipakita namo sa inyo nga kami mga kabataan karon ready mi mo switch into sustainable. Anything sustainable to prolong this lifespan sa atong planet.
Okay. Yeah. Do you mean to say that there are a lot of local executives who are environmentally illiterates? Okay. Ma'am Chin, at least your advocacy, if you look at City Hall, they are no longer patronizing or they're no longer buying foods from the peddlers using plastic cups. If you drink soft drinks, they're no longer providing you with straws and all other single-use plastics. So at least you started it correctly. Okay, so some other questions from the audience?
Excuse me.
Yes,
Mr.
sir,
Barrett,
please.
no? Firstly, I would like to ask the question from Mr. Hans. No, Mr. Hans, if the pilot of the helicopter needs a license, are we allowed to drive with no license from the car?
Yes, Mr. Hans?
No license?
No, you must have absolute license. Some license like you fly a plane.
We have to be licensed as a
Yes,
pilot.
yes, absolutely.
I see. So it's a regular rotary airplane that will need license for pilots. Now, may I, Mr. Barrito, there is a very important issue that I failed to mention here. No, is that there are two issues here that we have really to stop this project. It is not because we would not like to encourage investors to come in, but if they would like to come, they should introduce the right business and also that it should be done within the law. First is that it is in violation of the law, that there is a shortcut. And, hello. And to be able to stop this project and to show or to exercise the right of the city to stop it is for the mayor not to issue a mayor's permit. The bottom line there of the problem that we have when it was published 2 days or 3 days ago that Mayor Labella issued a mayor's permit is that he issued the mayor's permit on an illegal project which he can be suspended like Mayor Chong of Naga. Because Mayor Chong of Naga issued a mayor's permit to a project that is not qualified to be given a permit. So he was suspended. So we're afraid that if Mayor Edgardo Labella will do that, he might be suspended. Secondly is that the most important part of the story here is that we are very sure that this project of Kawit will be a failure. Not because it is in violation of the law, it is not because there is politics in it, but if you look at El Curso, who has been in El Curso in SRP? Have you seen that project? Have you been there? There are no people there. It is only used for jogging and biking. That's where I go every day in the morning. and you can see only 3 or 4 chikaan is there, or 2 or more, no more. After that, all the spaces are vacant. So if El Curso is folding up because of bad business, and I have seen in the newspaper that they are rescinding their contract with the city. They bought 16 hectares and they are returning the property to the city and stop the transaction. That is only few meters away, next to the Kawit. How could we expect Kawit project to prosper? Because Kawit project is very similar to the operation of El Curso.
We will see maybe if the project is already operational.
Yeah. So that is a very dangerous projection that we have. Very dangerous projection. So we are very apprehensive about that situation. And with these legal problems that is going on, the administration of Edgardo Labella and the council, which is the majority, is against that project. We will be expecting a failure of that project, like because of the Pilinvest, which is who owns the El Curso.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Mr. Chris. In addition to your query to Mr. Hans Meyer, since we are not regulating the gyrocopter as a sports aircraft, so since he is a registered pilot in Germany, accredited by German Aviation Authority, all they have to do is to surrender their German-issued license to the CAAP, the Civil Aviation Authority, and they will issue a temporary license in order to maneuver and fly the gyrocopter. The rule is they are only required to fly within 50-meter radius from point A to point B. So that is from Mactan Airport up to Karkar or Argao. But they kept on violating, so that's why they suspended the operation. Some of them, okay? So I told them, because when I went to the CAAP, okay, you can register your sports craft, provided that you have to train personnel or pilots from the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines in order to register your new aircraft. Considering that they do not train CAAP pilot, so until now it's still colorum, so to speak. Unlike or just like the seaplane. Seaplane is not yet registered because we still have, just recently, we have already CAAP pilot who can fly seaplane. So, Mr. Hans, you have to look into that. You have to tell your partner, Mr. Perez, to really spend money to train for CAAP pilot in order for your aircraft to be registered in the country. Can you do that? Can you tell Mr. Perez to train CAAP pilots in order your gyrocopter to be officially registered as a sports aircraft in the country?
Yeah, sure. We need to doing that. Maybe we're doing that now. I must information me because I don't see Mr. Ferris the last maybe 2 months. I don't see him. But before, tell me I like to doing this. So we have really registered pilots here for gyrocopter. And maybe I must tell too, every aircraft you fly in the world, for every aircraft you must have a different license. That's not only for gyrocopter. So when you're driving a little plane or bigger or whatever, a plane with 2 persons, with 4 persons, you must have every time also a pilot license. It's not like a car license. So you can driving a Porsche or Mercedes, you can driving everything. In a plane, no. That's why you must have a plane, but it's really easy to learn in. It's for everybody, not a problem. You can doing this in 20 hours.
Mr. Hans Mayer here is the official designated person to sell gyrocopter from one of the biggest gyrocopter manufacturers in Germany. So we visited Italy, we visited Germany to look for this supply of gyrocopter, and he found a gyrocopter in Germany, and he is the official distributor of the sports aircraft.
Sir, are these gyrocopters are for sale only or some are for rents? Because I remember when Richard Gordon was the Secretary of the Department of Tourism, he said that there must be a regional aviation companies to cater tourists in Cebu to other nearby provinces, because in most cases, tourists are becoming bored after staying here in Cebu for 3 days, 3 to 4 days. Are some of these gyrocopters for rent or for sale only?
Both for rent and for sale. So they're planning in order to boost our tourism and flying all over Cebu for 2 hours, and you can cover already the whole of Cebu Island. So in Phuket, Thailand, they use that as a tourist sightseeing. In Singapore, the same also. And in Australia, they cater it for the ranso, nga tighadloks baka. Instead of the usual Cessna plane, also with the plantation, banana plantation, and pineapple plantation in some parts of the region. So instead of using Cessna plane, they use the gyrocopter. And if you see in Germany, it's used for the police to hover criminals or to go after the criminals. Because you use only, not the aviation fuel, you use only unleaded gas. And the flying, if the U helicopter can fly as 120 kilometers per hour, gyrocopter can fly as fast as 180. Is that, Mr. Hans?
Yes, maximum you can flying 180 kilometers. It's up to the wind. But the traveling range, it's 150, 140 kilometers per hour.
And there are 2 types, the cabalon and the open type, and the side-by-side seating arrangement of the gyrocopter.
Yes, give some of 3 different kind of gyrocopters. One is open, that is the most of people like this for flying with tourists, and the closed gyrocopter is for businessmen. So because you must fly every time when it's raining, when it's sunshine, you can have here. Cool system inside from the gyrocopter. That's why it's 2 different kinds of gyrocopters is closed and one is open.
And the other one is the open type. Aircraft.
Yes,
Okay.
that's really for fun. This open. It's the same like you're riding a bike only in the sky. It's wonderful.
Okay. My next question is for Ma'am Janjan Lobanga. I understand that Puno Cebu has entered into a memorandum of agreement with Coco Life. What is this for, and why is it attractive to family?
Before Ma'am Janjan, Sir El, if the pilot or the gyrocopter fails to land, so we have the Punos. No problem.
Okay, Ma'am Janjan.
Sakto jud sir, no, insured na ba? So no worries. Without not our new actually dili siya new na to sir. I mean dili na nata existing, but nalanta nagbag-o lang ta or another since kanang we are as of today daghan na kayo ta na member and member nga co-op, so kung daghan na ta member na COOP, daghan na po ta members. So, through that partnership with Coco Life, since they are the kung sa baga, registered insurance provider in the country, one of those providers, so we need to partner for us to be able to protect our members in the future. Yes, sir.
So ang mahitabo ani nga ang mga members ani are also the owners
Yes,
of this
sir,
service.
exactly.
So murag bayanihan system.
Yes, sir, exactly.
Kamara diri nga dili pa sa ubang funeral parlors nga owned by a private person or a few people.
Yes,
so
sir.
mo come in ang even katong mga hidden charges, di ba?
Yes, sir.
But this Fono Cebu Cooperative is really a
Black and white, like we're very open.
Black and white service.
Yes, service to our
For the people.
for the especially to our member co-op members.
I'll introduce Sir El to the union members because we need also this kind of benefits. So
Yeah.
I hope Ma'am Janjan could visit and I'll invite her to talk with our top officials in order
Yeah,
for
that's
union members to avail of the services of
Yeah.
Funo Cebu.
Because Sir Art Barrett is an official of the ALO TOCP with thousands of members. So maybe we can invite ALO TOCP members to join with Fono Cebu Cooperatives.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. At this point, we'd like also to acknowledge the better half of Sir Hans Meyer, Ma'am Rachel at the back, is from Liloan, and Mr. Hans Meyer is happily married to Liloan La, so he used to visit every other month our province of Cebu because he stayed in somewhere in Katarman. Okay? Okay? So, we'll end up our discussion for today's edition of 888 News Forum. So, our guests, thank you very much for your parting statement. Let's start with Sir Chris Sabidra. Sir Chris, you have the floor.
Yes, this is my appeal to the Mayor of Cebu, Mayor Edgar Labella, before he will have to issue a mayor's permit. Because when I was there yesterday, Attorney Dalus told me that they did not issue the mayor's permit for the project to proceed. While in the papers, it says differently. So I hope they are serious about it, but definitely you will hear more about this because the City Council, through the Vice Mayor, promised me that they are going to conduct a public hearing. They are going to go and review these projects' objective and see to it that it will be done properly. Thank you very much for everything. And
Thank you very much, Sir Chris. So, Ma'am Janjan, your parting statement.
I would like to invite everyone, especially in the cooperative, to those would like to join Fono Cebu Federation of Cooperative. We're just located at Arcolina Street, Ibabaw, Estancia, and or you can contact our board of director, Mr. Elias Bakiro. And also, as I mentioned earlier, we're given 10% referral to those who will refer phonos or their funeral care to everybody, not just in our co-op members, but also to the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Janjan. Mr. Hans Peter, Mayor, your parting statement. And he will be flying back to Germany tomorrow.
Yes, sir. So I wish in the future we can have a lot of gyrocopters here. So we can, let's see, is a tourist here, this wonderful island from Philippines, and can see this in relative short time because we fly really quickly, and in this time where we fly, we can see a lot of from this wonderful islands. Thank you, Mr. Arp.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hans. So, Ma'am Ken, your parting statement.
Once again, thank you, 88 Forum. And yes, one word, climate emergency. So for now, comfortable patang tanan. We're very good right now. But one day, this will all turn against us. So yes, I'm calling all the youth, anyone involved, anyone who wants to care about the environment, please join us. September 28th on Fuentes Mania. Please go there at 9 a.m. And you can see there's a lot of young people who really care for this planet. Thank you.
And I hope, if I may add, you try to distribute the Pope encyclical on Laudato Si, and that is more of in the environmental program, environmental concerns of all of us, issued by the Catholic Church. For and in behalf of our regular hosts, Sir Elias Eli Baquero, our boss of My TV, Sir Bobit Abila, one of the organizers of this forum, our colleagues in the media, this is your alternate host, Art Barrett. Thank you very much and see you next week.